You have spent your entire life climbing a mountain that you were told would lead to paradise. From the very moment you were old enough to understand the world, you were handed a map. This map, drawn by others who never found their own way, told you that life was a series of peaks to be conquered. You were told that your value as a human being was directly proportional to the height you reached. And so, you began to climb. You checked every box: the perfect degree, the prestigious career, the growing bank account, the social status that makes others look at you with envy. You ran faster than everyone else, fueled by a mixture of ambition and a terrifying fear of being left behind. You were convinced that at the peak, there would be a moment of eternal satisfaction, a place where the wind stops howling and the soul finally finds its rest. But now, as you stand near that summit, looking out over the clouds of your own achievements, a cold and terrifying secret is starting to crawl up your spine: the higher you go, the emptier it feels. The air is thin, the silence is deafening, and that promised paradise is nowhere to be found. You are suffering from the curse of the high achiever. It is a modern plague that infects the most capable among us. You have turned your life into a relentless business transaction. You have become a professional at chasing the next, but a complete amateur at being in the now. Your success hasn't set you free, it has only built a more expensive, more sophisticated cage around your soul. You are not a master of your destiny, you are a slave to your own potential, driven by an invisible whip that tells you that what you have is never enough, and who you are is never sufficient. This curse begins in childhood, when we are praised for our grades rather than our curiosity. We learn very early that love and attention are performance-based. We carry this trauma into adulthood, calling it dedication or grit. But underneath the sharp suits and the impressive resumes, there is a hollow ache. You are tired. Not just physically tired, but a soul-deep exhaustion that sleep cannot cure. You have optimized your sleep, your diet, and your workouts, yet you feel more depleted than ever. Why? Because you are using your life as a fuel to power a machine that doesn't even belong to you. You are producing results for a world that will forget your name the moment you stop being useful. Today, we are going to dismantle this machine, piece by piece. We are going to find the courage to stop climbing a ladder that is leaning against the wrong wall. The tragedy of the modern achiever is that he treats his existence like a factory floor. Every action must produce a measurable output, every hour must be optimized for maximum efficiency. We have forgotten the sacred art of doing nothing. In the eyes of the high achiever, a moment of stillness is a moment of failure. If you are not producing, you are losing. If you are not learning, you are falling behind. We no longer take a walk for the sake of the wind on our faces, we exercise to lower our cortisol or hit a step count. We no longer read a book for the sake of the story, we consume content to stay relevant in our field. We no longer love for the sake of connection, we network to expand our reach. We have commodified our very souls, turning our most human experiences into data points on a spreadsheet. This constant pressure to be on creates a chronic state of fight or flight in your nervous system. Even when you are on vacation, your mind is scanning the horizon for the next threat or the next opportunity. You are successful on paper, but internally, you are a refugee seeking asylum from your own mind. You are haunted by the potential self, that idealized version of you that is always doing more, earning more, and being more. No matter what you achieve, the potential self is always 10 steps ahead, mocking your current reality. This is the ultimate deception of the ego. It uses your own greatness as a weapon against you. It keeps you in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction, making you believe that peace is something you have to earn through even more struggle. But peace is not a trophy. Peace is the space that remains when you stop struggling. The ancient sages spoke of a concept called Wu Wei, the art of effortless action. They knew that the most powerful movements in the universe are the ones that are not forced. The river does not try to reach the ocean, it simply flows. The flower does not struggle to bloom, it simply opens when the time is right. But the high achiever is always trying to push the river and force the flower. You are living in a state of hyperwill, trying to bend reality to your desires through sheer force of effort. This is why you are so exhausted. You are fighting against the natural rhythm of life. To break the curse, you must learn to let go of the oars. You must realize that you are not the one moving the boat, you are the one being moved by the vast currents of existence. When you stop trying to control everything, you gain a power that no amount of hustle can ever give you. Look at the silence you avoid. Why is it that the moment there is a gap in your schedule, you reach for your phone? Why is the thought of sitting in a quiet room for 30 minutes without a goal so terrifying? It is because in that silence, the high achiever mask falls away, and you are forced to face the naked reality of your own existence. Without the noise of your busyness, you are forced to ask, who am I if I am not productive? What is my value if I am not winning? Most people are terrified of the answer, because they have tied their entire identity to their output. You have become a human doing rather than a human being. You are afraid that underneath the titles and the trophies, there is nothing. But I am here to tell you that underneath the noise, there is everything. Your titles are the static that prevents you from hearing your own internal melody. Your achievements are the dust that obscures the mirror of your soul. To be truly successful is to be able to look at your reflection and feel a sense of wholeness that has nothing to do with what you did today. It is the ability to sit by a fire, with no agenda, no phone, and no next step, and feel that the universe is already complete. It is the realization that you do not need to become anything, because the essence of who you are is already infinite. The hunger for more is not a sign of ambition, it is a sign of a starving spirit that is trying to eat gold to satisfy its hunger for light. You cannot fill a spiritual hole with material gain. You cannot cure an internal emptiness with external applause. We live in a culture that rewards burnout and calls it hustle culture. We are told that winners never sleep and that pain is weakness leaving the body. This is a recipe for spiritual suicide. When you ignore the signals of your body and the whispers of your soul in favor of a career goal, you are practicing a form of self-hatred. You are telling yourself that the idea of success is more important than the reality of you. To break the curse, you must commit a radical act of rebellion. You must decide that your well-being is not negotiable. You must decide that you are allowed to exist without producing anything. You must learn to value the in-between moments, the silence between breaths, the space between thoughts, and the stillness between actions. This is where life actually happens. Imagine your life as a grand, ancient garden that was entrusted to you at birth. The high achiever, blinded by the expectations of the world, becomes so obsessed with the harvest that he forgets the very nature of the soil. He views the garden not as a place of beauty, but as a production line. He uses the chemical fertilizers of stress, the pesticides of anxiety, and the artificial lights of sleepless nights to force the fruits to grow faster, larger, and more perfect for the outside world to see. The neighbors walk by and applaud the abundance, they marvel at the height of the trees and the color of the roses. But you, the gardener, know the dark truth. The fruit has no taste. The roses have no scent. And underneath the surface, the soil is becoming toxic, depleted, and dry. You are standing in a garden of hollow miracles, exhausted by the very things that were supposed to bring you joy. Many of you watching this are standing in that poisoned garden right now. You have the house, the car, the family, and the reputation, the perfect harvest, yet you feel a bitterness in your mouth that you cannot explain. It is because you have sacrificed the process of living for the result of having. You have been told that life is a race, and you have won, but you find that the prize is a heavy crown of thorns that keeps you awake at night. It is time to stop forcing the harvest. It is time to return to the soil, to the humble, quiet roots of your being. To break the curse, you must learn to fall in love with the unproductive hours. You must learn that a day spent watching the clouds or listening to the rain is not a wasted day, but a day where the soil of your soul is being replenished. The universe does not judge a tree by how many apples it produces in a year, but by how deeply its roots reach into the earth. Are your roots deep, or are you just standing tall on a foundation of sand? We must fundamentally redefine what it means to win in this short, flickering candle flame of an existence. In the marketplace of the ego, winning means being at the top of the pile, looking down on others. But in the sanctuary of wisdom, winning means being the absolute master of your own attention. If you own $1 billion and a private jet, but your mind is a chaotic storm of worry, regret, and future anxiety, you are a spiritual pauper. You are a beggar dressed in gold. However, if you have nothing but a crust of bread and a quiet mind, and you can watch a sunset with a heart so full of gratitude that it feels like it might burst, you are the true king of the world. The curse of the high achiever is the poisonous belief that peace is a luxury you can only afford once the work is finished. But the work is never finished. The list of tasks is infinite. Therefore, if peace is at the end of the list, you will never reach it. Peace must be the ink with which you write the list. It must be the first step, not the final destination. As we bring this 26th chapter of our journey to a close, I want you to perform a simple, radical act. Look at your hands. Truly look at them. These hands have been so busy for so many years. They have been grasping for the next rung on the ladder, reaching for the next dollar, holding on tightly to reputations and titles that are as fleeting as the morning mist. For just this moment, I want you to let them rest. Let them open. Let them be empty. What is the fear that rises up when you are not holding on to anything? Is it the fear of being nobody? Is it the fear that if you stop running, the world will forget you? Let that fear come. Let it wash over you like a cold wave. And then, notice what remains. What remains is the essential you, the one who was there before the degrees, before the career, and before the struggle began. That person is enough. That person has always been enough. The stars do not struggle to shine. The earth does not hustle to rotate. The sun does not seek a promotion for its warmth. They simply are. And you, as a child of this same universe, have the same right to simply be. The world does not need your frantic, anxious energy, it has enough of that. What the world is starving for is your light, your presence, and your peace. And that light can only be seen when the thick smoke of your ambition begins to clear. Take a deep, conscious breath, perhaps the first real breath you have taken in years. Realize that you are not a cog in a social machine. You are not a high achiever or a failure. You are a divine mystery in progress. You have already won the only race that ever mattered, the race to exist in this magnificent, terrifying, and beautiful moment. I am Christopher, and I am here to tell you, it is okay to let go of the ladder. It is okay to step off the treadmill. It is okay to be nothing in the eyes of a blind society so that you can be everything in the eyes of the eternal truth. If this message has cracked the armor of your heart, then join us. Subscribe to this sanctuary and become part of a community that chooses depth over speed, and peace over pressure. Leave a comment below with the words, "I am already arrived," to signal to your own subconscious that the chase is over. Thank you for walking this difficult but necessary path with me through these 26 episodes. Stay silent, stay deep, and remember, the summit was never the goal, the mountain itself is the teacher. Until our paths cross again in the next chapter, live not for the world's noisy applause, but for the soul's quiet, radiant smile. You are enough. You have always been enough. Be at peace.